Hey Stephen, Rebecca, and Ken. I know you guys are producing the new ATVs, and we need to do some updates to them. Like I said in my letter, there's quite a few things we'd like to change. I'm just going to highlight a few of them right now. I'm going to start with the old Extreme. This unit here is probably 8 to 10 years old, but they set it up right. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller machine. I know you guys don't make them this small anymore. It still has the 6-inch tires, but let me zoom in on this. Really what we're talking about is the suspension. And if you zoom down, the coils on the shocks are real tiny. You know, they're small enough that they are actually very compliant. So when the kids hit the bump, you know, there is some movement on it without a lot of force. I mean, it's set up pretty good. The back pretty much the same way. You know, it's set up to where when the child sits on it, it actually will absorb some bumps. Okay? And that, I mean, I'm putting down, maybe 5-6 pounds of pressure, maybe 10 on the outside when I'm really forcing it. And when I sit on it, you know, I'm bottoming out. And that's about the way it should be for a full-size adult. That's set up pretty close. Now, let's go to your 110 you got here. The rear end, it is better than some of your other ones. But again, there's 220 pounds there. And yeah, it moves a little bit. But you got to remember, the person that's riding this, it's not right. The other thought is this too, guys. Look at this. There's no dampening in this shock. All you have here is a spring, and what that's going to do when the kid does hit a big bump and gets it to move, now he's going to bounce off. That's a safety issue. This is something that we don't really want to sell because it's dangerous. The front end, let's look at the front end on this. Will, you want to come around the front there? All right. You know, come on, really? There. I got it to move. But there's no child in the world that's going to be able to push and hit a bump and get that to move. Let's look at this one. Here's your 125. Okay? Same thing in it. Look at this. 220 pounds and it hadn't even moved. That's terrible. Same thing on this. Look at it. Guys, you got to get your shocks with dampening, and you got to get them to where they're the right pressure for these kids. Look at the back. Really? Same thing with that. I mean, there's no... Guys, this is a rigid machine. You have suspension that doesn't work. It's not safe. Another thing, real quick, let's look at this. Every one of your machines, the chain on them is so tight, there's no movement. So when the swing arm pivots, it's actually going to try to get tighter, and it can't. So you got to relocate this hole closer to the pivot, and that will release the pressure because this is already adjusted as far forward as possible. All right, and that's not right. That loads this bearing. It wears out the axle bearings, and it wears out the countershaft sprocket bearing there too inside the motor. Those things are pulling so tight together, you're wearing them out instantly. Look at this one. Same exact thing. The chain is too tight. Go to your shop and try every one of them. I'll guarantee you they all have the same tight suspension. They all have the same tight chain. Look here. You even got, on this one, you've got the, this is the 110. This is your starter relay. It's right in line with the chain. So when it does bottom out, which it's impossible to almost, it will hit that and eat it up. You have an electrical product right in the way of the drive chain. Not good, guys. So, you see my list I sent you. There's lots of other things I want to update. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm trying to make your product better. Something that I want to be able to sell, something that I'm proud to sell. Yes, the Chinese market is cheaper, but we're trying to produce a good value. We want to sell something that I want to be able to sell. I want a customer to come back and go, oh, that's a great product, I want to buy it again, instead of buying it and go, that sucked, I'll never buy another piece of Chinese scrap in my life. That's what's going on right now, but I want to fix it. I want to help you fix it. Call me.